from The Self-Unstable, and it's organized into 5 thematic sections, and the last one is all about love and sex, so I thought it was appropriate. Yeah, so it's called Enjoyment of Adversity, Love and Sex. Oh, and they're kind of like, I call them poems, because they're kind of a cross between koans and prose poems, if that helps. You can read a text just fine when the letters are out of order. This isn't my best work. I admit I'm depressed for relief from depression. The effect doesn't last. I say be careful flaneuring around with someone who loves you. Happiness should be all that matters, but it's not even high on the list. The hangover is one known form of regret that transcends culture. Do you ever revert to a dialect of baby talk from a previous relationship? It's a coding error. It's a dick move. In uncomfortable situations, one may rely on affected habits, on meta-jokes. Enjoyment of adversity is a sign of genius, but the mad genius is oblivious to adversity. Girls want to be beautiful. Boys want to be powerful. In other words, everyone wants to be powerful. The appeal of Houdini and lingerie is the same. The more straps you wear, the nakeder you look. The only natural responses to vulnerability are love and violence. We are both attracted to the older poet, but unsure if we prefer her as mother or lover. She calls us beautiful in such a skilled and subtle way that we don't have to feign embarrassment or reveal how pleased we are by blushing or saying thank you. She does not read from her book, which in any case isn't poetry, but fragments of a journal. Secrecy of diaries is pretense. One journals in the hope, the expectation that someone will read it. The enemy, a future self, the still unborn. I like my mother, but you can only like your own mother so much. The more you love someone, the less you like them. You lose naivete before you gain wisdom. In the interim, you believe that everything is about sex. Your dreams are given to obvious motifs. The motif of your blows falling weak and ineffectual, glancing off the enemy. The motif of the foreign airport, being unable to pack, having nothing to wear. In dreams, even sex is symbolic of sex.
Good pause.
My lips were sticky. I love when men say the word pretty. Sex is a kind of overstatement, but men are most attractive when ambiguous. I like men to dislike me a little. Behind their aviators, men might not be looking at you at all. They might be thinking about another woman entirely, or a man, or sex as a vague abstract. At any given time, most men are secretly thinking about sex, but some men, during sex, must think about music. When the novelty of the new wears off, it feels chintzy. The way I feel about strangers is unconditional. They never seem strange. Strange has lost its original meaning, and now means vague. I regret the mistakes I made in my 20s, though I am the same and would make them again. In fact, I wish I could make them again. When you suspect someone is in love with you, you begin to treat them with contempt. Cruelty is justified, even an obligation. You engage in the feminism of rejecting beauty. Nevertheless, you hope to remain attractive. In fact, you become more so. Men test the limits of your capacity for cruelty, follow you into bars. My ex read about a woman who believed she was having orgasms until she finally had a real one. He suggested my orgasms might not be real. What an odd way to undercut me, since he was the one providing them. Is it even possible to have an imaginary orgasm? If you believe you are happy, aren't you, for all intents and purposes, happy? Don't you always feel the way you feel? He said it was an elegant scar. My sex dreams are too realistic. We watched the sunset from a plane, and later the city lights approaching in the dark, copper and green. Why are they all orange or green? My enemy, if you tell me you love me, accidentally or automatically, I will always forgive you. How quickly the unexamined becomes the over-explained. A shared taste in music is a sure sign of a star-crossed romance. After late-stage denial, a misdirected searching moral inventory, then blame and other bad science. Correlation is not causation, but it's damning anyway. Death knells sound less final than you think. Sexual tension must culminate or deteriorate, thus all passionate friendships end with resentment. Be careful what you do with abandonment. In fantasies of sudden death, one's enemies are finally sorry. This only endears them to the fantasizer. Be careful what you wish for, and that it tells you what you want. Men say infuriating things, and the fury has nowhere to go. The fury becomes ingrown. Your personality is a choice, so why are you half little girl and unlike yourself? You don't change exactly, but the wave amplifies. The world is your ulcer. Love turns blood brown. Be careful what you say, and that it tells you what you think.
Yeah.
Is that okay?
Yeah.
Will it damage the equipment? I have two more. Be thankful for adversity. Boethius said, "For in all adversity of fortune, the worst sort of misery is to have been happy." It's easier to repeat mistakes than recreate successes. So think of your past self as a different person. Your past selves, different people. No great art comes from happiness, comfort. But discomfort isn't enough. I write from suffering, not lust. Koans are used to provoke the great doubt. Contentment isn't happiness. I told a student that desire comes from boredom, but I seek out desire, so why do I fear boredom? Maybe emotions are ideas. I believe in the end of history illusion, but I also believe in the end of history, the failure of all imagination. The future isn't anywhere, so we can never get there. We can only disappear. Thank you.